Underhill bonsai, and today we're going to be talking about conceptual designs for this really special Yamadori bald cypress right here.
So years ago, I bought a picture from a wildlife photographer, Julia Sims, who spent a lot of time in Manchac Swamp photographing trees and other wildlife. The particular piece that I really liked was called Old Friends, and it shows two old bald cypress standing by themselves in a swamp. To me, that was an idealized view of what bald cypress should look like in the wild. And I've had a vision of creating a bonsai that fulfilled that sense to me of that scene. Now, two trees in isolation are kind of hard to work together, but this past year, a good friend of ours, Nate, came in with a twin trunk tree that you see here next to me, twin trunk bald cypress, and I guess I told him the story of Old Friends, and he said, "Doug, this is for you, and this is for you to create old friends." So this has been sitting in our nursery for about a year now. It's pushed itself up an inch or two out of the pot, so we know the roots are quite healthy. It has a lot of character for either of these individual trees, but I think together we can make a fairly reasonable representation of Old Friends, and this is a tree that I can keep with me for a long time. So, I'm here with Evan. We're going to do some conceptual design work to talk about it initially. Evan will do the actual heavy lifting on it, but the two of us will talk about what we're going to do with it and what we want to achieve with it in the final analysis.
Luckily the photo is right here on the wall,
Yeah.
so I can kind of look at it. And based off of the two trees that we're seeing here, I think that this one has the most movement and girth to it, and should be the taller of the two because it's still even a little bit bigger here, and then the taper kind of ends. It doesn't really end though, it keeps going. So this might be able to keep this a little higher. I might chop to here because this is going to start to form a knot up here, and that would be better for me to just negate it there. So
Yeah, I certainly agree that this is the dominant of the two trees, and the photograph of Old Friends has a dominant and a subordinate looking pair.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that this is the dominant of the two for a whole bunch of reasons that like you've said. And I also agree that it's too high at present. So where we cut this one then of course will determine what we do with the other one and the height that we ultimately set on the second trunk. I should certainly make myself of use.
that came off real easy. And then
Nice thing about this tree is that we know it's really healthy. We know it's got a lot of vigor. It's been allowed to grow freely for a whole season, and there's even some brand new growth coming out at the very top.
And so I think that one that you got your hand on right there, I need to also adjust the height on that. And we've got a couple of branches, and you can blast in the picture on this point too and just show like there is a branch right here that kind of does like a secondary trunk thing that you got your hand on. And I think that's going to happen like right at your hand, like that. And then now of course I've got to choose the height of this tree, and since this is the taller of the two, I want to go and see how this one's a little bit more in the distance.
Yeah, so the first issue with the subordinate tree is that its apex pretty much ends around the beginning of the apex on the taller of the two trees. So that's sort of a consideration. Wherever this apex starts off, which is somewhere in here, is probably ultimately the final height of this. Now,
Yeah.
all that said, we're not trying to make Old Friends. We're trying to make a representation of Old Friends.
So I think right here, and I'm going to go ahead and carve. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show some carving video footage as well. So I'm going to hit right here. There we go. And now we've got two reasonable size trunks. It looks like an Old Friends has a couple of pieces down here that look like little tiny trunks.
Yeah, it's got some little scrubby stuff there at the bottom. So
Which-
we can live with some of that little fuzzy stuff at the bottom. And of course it has an intermediate branch, which is typical among the flat top design, well, design by nature. The flat top trees in nature often have sort of an intermediate branch.
So I think where you're holding it up in here, that's actually, some of these little branches have given up. So I think right here, because this is going to be part of your flat top.
Still nice and green, so that's good. These branches are old and pretty brittle, but they're definitely still alive.
So
Yeah, so the main branch coming up here is alive. This piece here is not. So this is all dead. You can just take that off.
you want to take the whole thing?
No,
Just
take the dead part off, and then we can wait and see what happens
Yeah.
with this. I'm not ready to give up on that piece yet.
That's kind of something that happens when you leave a lot of these branches on there, is that you start to get pieces that just kind of give up on you.
Yeah, one of the mistakes I'm sure I made with this was leaving all of this long stuff up here where the tree's trying to grow new roots, and it couldn't support all of that, so it simply gave up on some of these branches. Not a lot, but would have been better off had we trimmed it back earlier.
But we're not going to literally leave dead segments on there, but, you know, it might be of interest.
I'm certainly not opposed to having some dead work in here along the way.
That's good. And then this is really long, so I'm just going to leave it a little short. And I can already start to see the flat top nature of it. And once I get this carved in there, and it'll be nice and tapered, I can see it now. So all I got to do now is really get the wire on there. And I just love the way that this tree comes up and then actually kind of twists like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, the flat top looks like it's, in the photograph, it looks like it was interfered with a little bit, maybe by the other tree, but it's tighter than a flat top would normally be. Almost looks like it had the beginnings of a flat top lower down, and then that got shaded out by its friend, so it grew a whole new apex above that.
I had to remove this one because, I mean, in the composition that I wanted to make like a 3-trunk, this would be great, but we're doing a very strong 2 tree, so unfortunately we have to let this guy go. There is growth up and down the trunk on the other side and right underneath this that we can go into. And I'll go in and carve this deeper in here. There's also a very beautiful flute right here that is starting to suck up. And
Yeah, we can do a little bit of carving on that, make a nice little hollow.
So I'm just kind of going in and removing the length and coarse branches on the tree. And you can see this is a very quick process now. But I think that's where we're at right now.
Okay, now the fine carving. Not clogged up and it works, it does give you a very nice surface. Now, does that really matter under all this gunk sealant and scar tissue? I don't know. make it look like